This is exactly right.
Hello.
And welcome.
Welcome.
This is My Favorite Murder.
The podcast. That's Karen Kilgariff.
And that's Georgia Hardstark.
That's right. It's raining today.
Oh, you should see it in Los Angeles, everybody, and the rest of all of the world.
Yeah.
There's people right now in Stockholm, Sweden.
Are they okay?
Wait, is it Sweden?
Yeah. I think so.
I don't trust anything that comes out of my mouth.
100%.
Ever.
I'm going to go with 100%.
But I'm also constantly talking. Is kind of
so half of it's going to be fucking wrong.
Yeah.
Just like with I know math really well. Half is always wrong.
Half, and then with me, you can add another 45% on top of that.
You know places. I know math together.
Ding dong.
We're fucking Steve Jobs.
25% is the same as
100.
Let's not dwell on the past. Look, in the future, we're going to be so accurate that this podcast won't be good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Boring.
No one's asking us to tighten up our game.
No.
Because who wants that?
Speaking of, what do we now call?
Speaking of, it's time for corrections
exactly.
corner.
What do we call a correction of a corrections? Corrections corner?
Correction squared. It's
Dude,
correction squared.
That was amazing.
Thank you. I've done it for a living.
So, Lizzie informed me last week I corrected myself of the to-do list, which everyone's sick of. No one needs to hear it anymore.
Oh, right. Okay.
But it's my favorite. I love it. It's a to-do list. Mm-hmm. Don't just write a to-do list. Write a fucking to-do list of shit you've accomplished today in your life. You know, whatever.
The positive lens that you look at things through.
Exactly.
Totally.
Positivity. We love it.
Positivity.
Originally, I fucking said Gail King did it. The following, when I corrected it, I said someone else did it.
Okay.
I was incorrect.
Oh, okay.
Lizzie wrote, Georgia, sorry, you're wrong about that. Julia Cameron is the person who did the to-do list, and she's an author who wrote The Artist's Way, which Lizzie is obsessed with.
Yes, she is.
Lizzie Cooperman, our good comedy friend.
I thought you were going to say our good buddy, which would be so odd. But Lizzie Cooperman literally does morning pages still to this day every morning.
Yeah, The Artist's Way.
You know
Julia
what?
Cameron. Read it.
Sorry, I just interrupted you 4 times.
Please.
In one moment. I just remembered my mom gave me The Artist's Way when I moved to LA. I've taken it with me every time I've moved. It's just one of those books that's always in the thing, and I've never read it, and I'm going to.
Do it. Was she the kind of mom, this is what my mom is like, who will write something in the big, like, sign it, like she wrote it?
Yes.
Are you going to cry?
I just remember that. I bet you if I open it, she's going to have said something really inspirational.
Oh, my God. Will you please let us know?
Yes, I'll bring it in.
Okay.
Also, my mom was real big into cards. Yeah. She would send you a card for no reason.
Did she?
It would just be like, Dad and I went down to, the blah, blah, blah last night. Miss you. Hope you're doing good. And she also, if you needed a card, she would always go, well, do you have a card? And we'd be like, no.
You're supposed to have a card for this fucking occasion.
For everything. And she'd go upstairs and have her choice of like 40 cards.
There's a thank you. There's a this. There's a, I tried to be that person for a while, but it's really hard. So I just got blank cards and now I have them.
Well, those are good because what she would do is I think she started folding into her like things I have to do today. One of the things would be like stand in the CVS or the Longs, Drugs in Petaluma and just read some funny cards and buy them if she felt like
That's adorable.
Yeah, she was pretty good about that. Yeah.
That's such a mom thing. I know. I'll never have it. I hate cards so much. Maybe it's because my mom would just sign her name to some fucking card. And then she'd be like, did you read it? I'm like, well, you didn't fucking write it. Why would I read it? Moms.
Fucking moms. Okay, so I have corrections corner.
Great.
You've corrected a correction.
Yeah. Squared.
I would like to turn this into apology corner.
Great.
Because when we were talking about Olivia Colman last week, you said, she was on that Mitchell and Webb look, which is a sketch show that the guys from Peep Show did before they did Peep Show. And I said, no, she wasn't. in that voice.
You did?
Well, I just said no, or I was like, oh, she was in Peep Show. Well, I didn't want. I've seen 2 sketches from that Mitchell and Webb look, Number Wang and the one where
Number Wang is so good. It's the best. Go on YouTube and look up Number Wang and just watch it.
The best game show of all time.
Oh.
And then the Nazi sketch where David Mitchell plays a head Nazi that goes, "Are we the baddies?" He realizes that Nazis are bad as a Nazi.
I haven't seen it.
It's amazing. Okay. So she was on it, and a bunch of people were like, "Karen, you said no to Georgia, but she was right. So you were right."
Okay.
And
I never even knew I was told I was wrong. But I love this feeling.
I negated you. So I thought, because Olivia Colman, we love her so much. We've loved her for a long time. I thought it might be fun if we also had Olivia Colman corner. And we just went over, just very lightly, just so we know about Olivia Colman.
Do you have her IMDb there?
Yeah, I sure do. I made Stephen print it out.
Oh my God. Let's fucking get into Olivia Colman. Let's make her be our best friend.
Please.
You know our best friend, Olivia Colman.
I mean, if anybody deserves to have a corner anywhere, it's Olivia Colman. She has been a journeyman actress for comedically and dramatically, which not very few people can do. The things she does on Broadchurch and the things she does on Peep Show it's the one woman, and yet she's doing the full range.
And she had the fucking wherewithal and foresight to wear a fucking dress to the Oscars.
Yes, that's right.
With pockets in it.
Yeah, she had pockets.
Her fucking gown had pockets, everyone.
She had pockets. She's one of us, one of us, one of us.
Let's do it. She hates us.
Sari, will you take out that?
Oh, which part?
When I just said Sari, which is not a fucking word or name.
Please don't take that out. Stephen, do not remove that. It's getting...
It's getting
drunk in here.
It's getting jiggy, and we're literally 4 minutes in. Okay. Sarah Caroline Olivia Colman.
Great.
Born January 30th, 1974, is an English actress, recipient of several awards, including an Academy Award. So this has been very recently updated.
They're on it.
4 BAFTA Awards, 2 Golden Globe Awards, and the Volpe Cup for Best Actress.
That's not a real thing.
Yeah, that's given out at the Petaluma restaurant Volpe's. And it's a cup of Jameson's whiskey that they give you for being a good actress.
I want to win it. That's my goal in life now.
I've won it so many times. She was a graduate of the Bristol Old Vic Theatre School, came to prominence for her work in television, her breakthrough as Sophie Chapman on the Channel 4 comedy series Peep Show, which went from, I didn't know this, 2003 to 2015. That show was on for fucking 12
you guys
years.
Watch it. It's great.
Oh, it's so good. She was also on the show Green Wing, which my friend Michelle Gomez was on and is hilarious on. Green Wing is a great British comedy series.
We're offering you all these good shows.
Beautiful people. Rev. I just recently rented Rev or got it or whatever. It's so good. And it's the guy, it's Olivia Colman as the wife and the husband who plays the reverend. He's like just like a reverend of a church.
Rev, not like revving up your motorcycle.
Kind of the opposite, actually. It's Rev down.
Down
and
your coolness.
It's the guy that plays the like priest cousin in Pride and Prejudice who comes and he's one of my favorite British actors. He's so good. He's basically like a male Olivia Colman, really. She's won BAFTAs for best comedy performance. She's fucking and then of course she won for Broadchurch. BAFTA for Best Actress in Broadchurch, which is a fucking straight up heavy drama.
True crime, right?
True crime. She got a Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actress for The Night Manager in 2016. That's Bill Nighy, I believe. Why would I even? All right. So we'll have an Olivia Colman corner, but that'll just kick us off.
Facts.
If you don't know her, get to fucking know.
No,
Olivia
you
Colman.
do. She's our new mascot for My Favorite Murder. Congratulations.
Mascot might be slightly condescending.
It is. You're right. She's our new leader.
She's our leader.
She's our CEO.
She's our patron saint.
That's right. I have a question.
Yes.
Did you watch Leaving Neverland?
No.
Don't do it.
Don't do it?
Do it. It's terrible. Do it. It was one of those things where Vince and I were like so excited to go watch it. We got home, we started watching it, and he goes, I don't want to watch this anymore, like halfway through because it's terrible.
So depressing.
And I was like, me too. This is horrible. And
snuck back up later.
Pretended I was a normal human being and didn't like to hear the most fucked up things you've ever heard in your life.
I mean, I will definitely watch it because I made the whole writer's room at Baskets one day look through all the police pictures that when they went into Neverland of those mannequins.
I don't
and
remember
all
those.
there's the weird shit in his house. I was like, hey, has anyone ever seen this? And then we're just going through and it's just a house filled
like
with
8 locks on each door.
Horrifying.
The show is fascinating, incredible. It's awful. And I just feel for these 2 men with all my heart.
Wait, no, is it a Netflix documentary? Do you know?
It's a documentary. I think Netflix bought it.
Okay.
And so it's a 2-part documentary. No, wait. HBO Now. There we go.
HBO Now.
There.
Good.
Or where, HBO whenever.
Or wherever you find your Michael Jackson documentary. Here's my next one. Because the fish I was talking about on the last episode was the red hand fish. I actually interacted with several people on Twitter about it because people go, is this the fish? And they were all excited. Is it this salamander? Is it this whatever? And I finally had to look it up. It was hard to find. It's called the red hand fish. Is the one that I saw at the aquarium that I was at.
You tripped balls on because it had hands.
It was holding. But then people started sending me a meme. And there is a meme out there of this exact fish. So yes, all the people that sent me the meme going, is this a fish? Yes, you're right. It's the fish holding its arms out between the 2 rocks. And then the meme, and just up on top, it just says, excuse me, rocks.
Oh my God.
And it's fucking hilarious. And yes, that is the fish. I know it as the red hand fish. That's what I looked it up as. Could have a more official name because the one in the meme is yellow.
Oh my God.
Isn't that the weirdest thing? It's
disturbing. Steven's showing us a photo of him. He's disturbing me.
Excuse me, rocks. So yes, this is the fish we were talking about last time. Everyone's right.
I need to get back on Twitter because as far as I know, I don't ever do anything wrong. Instagram, maybe one person will comment something other than...
Yeah, you got to jump on Twitter and just people let you know. I actually responded to that Olivia Colman because the Olivia Colman message that she was actually on that Mitchell and Webb look came in, I would say at like 7:30 a.m.
Ouch.
And then I wrote back, wow, Corrections Corner's starting early on this one.
You got to know.
Yeah, you got to know. We got to be told. We like it.
We do.
Also, I am so behind on my true crime TV. There's people who constantly are like, have you seen Finding Neverland? Have you seen whatever these shows are that come out? And I would say I'm 5 behind.
God, which ones are there that we need to watch?
I mean,
dude, there's one.
Yes.
What were you going to say?
No, I mean, the list goes on. It's like all the ones everyone's already talked about, basically.
This one where this girl gets kidnapped by her neighbor.
Yes.
It is the most fucked up fucking show I've ever seen. What is it called? Hold on.
Abducted in Plain Sight.
Yes. Abducted in Plain Sight, yes. Steven.
I think you actually told me about it.
Yeah, I think I was one of those. Are you watching this right now? I'm freaking the fuck out because I was alone.
Yes.
And I just figured that you'd happen to put it on the exact same Friday night that I was alone at home drinking white wine.
We should have done that.
Sometimes it happens.
Yeah, it does happen.
I just didn't know how fucked up it would be. And listen, there's aliens. It's just so, it's similar to Leaving Neverland because it's like, why didn't the parents do anything?
Right. Well, you know what's funny? I have listened to people talk about this and quietly smiled and nodded my head because I haven't watched it. And every time I go to watch anything, all I want to do is watch The Sopranos. I'm almost through the rest of
I get it.
Season 6.
Like, I don't want to waste my time on this thing.
I don't want to I'm in this kind of like weird mafia violence, yet philosophical ennui. I don't want to go into child molestation.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's very triggering and troubling
and awful. It's what we all pay attention to.
I mean, it's just fucked up and it's cautionary. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. People need to know this is how it happens.
Right.
They need to know. They should know.
All right. Speaking of true crime,
Olivia Colman, her alma mater is Homerton College in Cambridge.
I was hoping you get to that one. Everyone at home was like, come on. We all have our Olivia Colman bingo that we're playing. Is she going to say what college she went to?
Talk about her first college, not just her theater school.
That's right. What'd she do in 2017? We want to know.
Pockets.
I need that B-I-N-G-O.
that O-C-B-I-N-G-O.
That's right, with pockets.
With America's #1 meal kit, HelloFresh, you'll get easy, seasonal recipes and pre-measured ingredients delivered right to your door. All you have to do is cook and enjoy. HelloFresh makes cooking delicious meals at home a reality. From step-by-step recipes to pre-measured ingredients, you'll have everything you need to get a wow-worthy dinner on the table in about 30 minutes. Say goodbye to endless grocery store trips and takeout. HelloFresh has you covered. There's something for everyone, from family recipes to calorie smart and vegetarian, and fun menu series like Hall of Fame and craft burgers. HelloFresh has more 5-star recipes than any other meal kit, so you'll know you're getting something incredible. HelloFresh is flexible and it fits your lifestyle. Easily change your delivery days, food preferences, and skip a week whenever you need. Break out of your dinner rut and make deliciousness part of every week with HelloFresh. I love that even though HelloFresh is super easy and they make it really basic and like straightforward, you still feel like you're cooking this like incredible home cooked dinner. And that makes me feel good about myself. And that instead of just ordering takeout, I'm actually making something and preparing something at home. And that just, it feels good. So for $80 off your first month of HelloFresh, go to HelloFresh.com/murder80 and enter murder80. It's like receiving 8 meals for free only at HelloFresh.com/murder80, promo code murder80. Go buy.
You're first, right?
Am I?
Yeah.
Steven says yes. Now I can't I can't remember who told me to do this. This came through a conversation I was having. I don't think it was a listener on Twitter or anything, but if I'm wrong, next week. I have the blind faith that someone will let me know.
Gotta hope.
I hope to God. But when it was suggested by whoever, I feel like it was more a personal conversation in real life, but I can't tell anymore. Could have been my friend Gigi.
What if I'm doing it today? Because I was like, I'm going to do this one. Don't do it.
And I was like, sounds great. I will do it. It is, do you ever watch Hogan's Heroes in your life?
A little bit.
Well, you know, Hogan was murdered.
Oh, yeah.
This is the murder of Bob Crane. Right? And
good one.
Never done this one before.
Very good one. I don't think I've seen Hogan's Heroes. I'm a little too young.
Yes. It was old when I was young and I'm old.
Vince mentions it sometimes. Up until yesterday, I thought the movie Cannonball Run was the movie Cool Runnings. So I'm not up to date with your fucking 70s and 80s shows and movies.
I will say this, because if I'm right, Cool Runnings is about the Jamaican bobsled team.
That's correct.
John Candy is the coach. It's a fucking great movie.
Okay.
It's a great movie.
Okay.
It's fun to watch. It's on cable all the time. The actors are great. The story is based on a true story.
Okay.
Everything about it is feel fucking good.
So super stupid that I thought they were the same thing.
No, that is stupid. Just kidding. No.
No, I love it.
But
okay, where were we?
I'm not sure. Wait, Cool Runnings.
Cool Runnings.
And what was the
Hogan's Heroes?
What was the one you thought though? Running.
Cannonball Run.
Cannonball Run. Thank you, Steven.
Oh my God.
Cannonball Run.
This is the beginning of the end.
Wow. I mean, I have the wine I can blame. I don't know.
I got nothing. So basically, when I was growing up, these were the reruns from 70s television or late 60s television that were on like local cable.
With MASH and then Hogan's Heroes. Sounds so boring.
And it's incredibly boring when you're young, especially because it was still at the time. I would watch Hogan's Heroes when I was still young enough to be like, this is boys TV. It's not girls TV. So I don't want to watch it.
Dad TV.
Yeah.
I'm bored.
This is boring. And it's army stuff. But it was actually a comedy that was essentially based on the Steve McQueen movie, The Great Escape, which is about prisoners of war in World War II.
Amazing. Now I'm like, okay, I'll watch that.
And it's a comedy. It's the one where like, it'd be like, what was the Hogan? It was like a big fat German guy that would come in and yell at them. And the Nazis, of course, were very stupid. And then they basically got out and did whatever they wanted. Then when they'd go back into prison and be like, we're here in prison.
Why didn't they just leave?
Because the show just kept getting renewed. So
got it.
So the guy that played Hogan in Hogan's Heroes, he even if you didn't watch the show and even if you're really young, he had this face like if you saw him, because he always had the hat and he had the leather bomber jacket and he had a real like cute kind of like, you know, wiseacre-y face. And he was just like, all right, sounds good. And then he'd go down like a chute or whatever. Got it. Trap door.
70s, right?
70s.
He was super fucking famous.
Yes.
In the 70s and 80s?
In the late 60s, 70s, I would say. Because this show went from, I believe, like 71 to 76 or something like that.
Okay.
So it was like, when it was on in reruns, it was on reruns with Flipper.
Oh my God.
This is Channel 44 San Francisco.
Everyone's favorite channel.
70s, 80s. Channel 44. That was like the cable we dreamed of. Like, oh, if that comes in, it'll be great. Because you could get your Flipper and you could get some Hogan's Heroes. And then you get the Monkees, which was like the best.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Peter Tork. You were a genius. Yeah. So this was in that mix. But it wasn't my pick because it was like dudes strategizing on how to break out of the prison for the night.
Yeah, and little Karen was like, make love, not war.
I was like, where are the make love shows? Yeah. Because I'm more of a Cinemax gal.
Exactly. I'm not into war. Karen already was a fucking war protester.
No, I was anti-war and I was pro doing it, and any information I could gather about that.
Absolutely.
I would like to know.
I'm on that.
And that's why my favorite movie is Summer Lovers, starring Peter Gallagher and Daryl Hannah.
Dirty Dancing over here.
Put all that's all on the recommendation list.
Yes.
Okay. So let me just tell you a little bit about this.
Please.
Bob Crane is born July 13th, 1928.
Oy vey.
Yeah, in Waterbury, Connecticut. He's the youngest of two boys, and he grows up in Stamford, Connecticut. He's a talented, charismatic kid. When he's 11 years old, he goes to the 1939 World's Fair, and he sees drummer Gene Krupa play. And I don't know if you've ever heard of Gene Krupa, but he was like the shit drummer. Big time. And so in having watched that performance, Bob Crane is like, now I want to be a drummer.
Yeah.
And so he gets to, because this was back when there were actually like arts programs in schools. So he he picks up drumming as a tremendous amount of promise. He starts playing with friends and bands. He joins, when he gets to high school, he's in the marching band, jazz band, and the orchestra.
Dude, love those drummers.
He's like, right? They just hold shit down. He ends up then playing for the Connecticut and Norwalk Symphony Orchestras.
Oh, famous.
As part of their, can you believe it?
I can't.
He made it for their youth orchestra program. So he's good at it, obviously. He graduates in 1946 from Stanford High. He then works as a watch repairman and a sales clerk at a local jewelry store.
Another talent.
He's good with his brain.
Multi.
And hands. Hand-eye coordination. But then also real small. He enlists in the Connecticut Army National Guard.
Got it.
May 20th, 1949, he marries his high school sweetheart, Ann Turgeon, and together they have a son and two daughters. So then he moves to Hornell, but I think it's Hornell. New York.
Hormel.
Yeah, Hormel, Chile, New York.
Yeah, got it.
So he can work at a radio station called WLEA. He moves around from job to job in radio. And then finally in 1956, he moves to Los Angeles to work at the CBS affiliate KNX out here as their morning radio show.
That is our favorite radio station out here, everyone.
When Georgia and I both tune into KNX, does it still exist?
No, I've never heard of it before.
A 3-lettered radio station?
Yeah. No.
That's from before.
Yeah.
So he becomes, he's the morning show radio host. They retitled the old morning radio show, The Bob Crane Show, and it immediately takes off and he becomes known as the king of the Los Angeles airwaves.
He's the original podcaster.
He really is. He did impressions. He did really good impressions. He later became known as the man of 1,000 voices. And he was their Ryan Seacrest back in the day.
Got it.
And on his show, he interacts with a slew of notable musicians and actors and other celebrities. At one point, he even gets to face off with Gene Krupa in a drum battle as like some promotional thing.
That's a little disrespectful. Does he let him win?
He better fucking have lost on purpose.
Dude.
Although Gene Krupa, I think, would have just handed him his ass and said, thanks so much for the radio time.
That's true.
So Bob Crane remains in radio for 15 years until 1965. And he makes a name for himself as a trailblazer in the field. And actually, they say the art of sampling can be attributed to Bob Crane.
How?
Because the way he
was fucking ripping and scratching on those fucking 1-2s?
It was less it was less record scratching and more that he would cluster commercials, songs, commentary, news into one seamless program. So it wasn't the stoppy-starty thing. Like, he was trying to kind of blend it all together.
Yeah, never stop listening. Yeah. Essentially.
Because he gets so popular and he's like so well known, he gets offers from various TV producers to change the morning radio show into a TV show. But he decides he doesn't want it just to be like, he doesn't want to be a host. He wants to act. And so he declines all those offers. But KNX knew that Bob was going to want to act. So they forged a no acting clause into his 5-year contract.
What dicks. What do they fucking care? Sorry, I'm angry at contracts.
They want some contract issues.
I've got some issues right now.
Some sensitivities. So by 1961, when the contract is up, he renegotiates and he has the no acting clause lifted.
Yeah.
And then, unlike anyone else in Los Angeles, he goes and tries to become an actor. How special. But he actually does great because he has, as I said, that really great, but also kind of like any everyman face. The great voice. He gets some small gigs on The Twilight Zone, the Alfred Hitchcock Hour, and then he lands a guest starring role on The Dick Van Dyke Show in 1962.
Fucking sweet.
Yeah. And then that, of course, because that's some high level shit, that show was humongous. And from there, he gets a one-off role on The Donna Reed Show, but is so popular that then they give him it becomes a recurring role, the character of Dr. Dave Kelsey. So that's how he kind of breaks into TV on Donna Reed. So he, for 2 years, he is the morning radio DJ on KNX, and he has his show, he has his part on the Donna Reed Show. He leaves the Donna Reed Show in 1964. And then in 1965, he lands the starring role on Hogan's Heroes as the host, as the hero of Hogan's Heroes, Jerry Hogan. I just realized I never looked at Jerry Marie Hogan. Get out of that prison camp. So Hogan's Heroes is a huge hit. It runs for 6 seasons. He gets 2 Emmy nominations for it. And then in 1965, he starts to have an affair with his fellow Hogan's Heroes actor, a woman named Cynthia Lynn. So his family's at home, obviously. This is a very common thing in show business. As they get filled with the success and the fame, everything changes a little bit, and it's the old, things are better here than they are at home. So apparently this was his love interest on the show. And when they would kiss on the show and then the director would call cut, they would just keep on kissing.
Gross.
Right? So everybody at the show knew that basically they were having an affair. It was very open on the set, but to his family and then to the press and everyone else, he was this wholesome family man, the doctor from Donna Reed or whatever.
What a dick.
So Cynthia would later note that Bob, when they were having their affair, showed this fascination with cameras, and he would often ask to photograph her nude. She consented, but it was part of it. Just earmark that for later.
I'm doing it.
When Cynthia leaves the show after the first season, the affair essentially ends. Yeah. That's how you know it's true love. Is if you're not close by anymore, you're out.
They forget about you.
Yeah. So then another affair starts in 1968 with his co-star, an actress named Patricia Olsen, who had a different stage name, but that was her real name.
Was she one of the Olsen twins?
She was Mary Ellen's older sister.
Got it.
She was one of the Olsen twins, not one of the famous ones. She's the 4th Olsen twin.
Yeah. 4th iteration of... Okay.
Yes. She's the prequel. NyQuil. Oh, God. So it's on with Patricia.
Let's get it.
And let's do it.
Let's get it on.
That goes on for 2 years. Finally, Bob divorces his wife in 1970, right before their 21st wedding anniversary.
Oh, well, what a dick.
Yeah. He saved it up. Then he ends up marrying Patricia Olsen on the set of Hogan's Heroes later the same year.
Tacky.
Super cheesy and cornball. Okay, so the next year, Patricia gives birth to their son, Scotty. And then a little while later, they adopt a daughter named Anna Marie.
They named the middle name after his own middle name?
That's right. Bob Marie Crane. So
sorry, I'm interrupting you way too much.
No.
Okay.
Please.
Okay.
So Hogan's Heroes gets canceled. Then Bob works on various films, TV shows, and theater performances. And 1975, they actually give him, on NBC, they give him his own show for a little while called The Bob Crane Show, but it only lasts for 13 episodes. Listen, it's happened to a lot of us. Yeah. Don't be ashamed.
A lot more than
most.
Right.
Those ones that start and immediately stop.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite TV shows. Where you're like, I've seen this billboard up on Barham. I've been having to stare at it for 4 months.
And they're not going to take it down for 8 more.
No, even though they only aired 2 episodes.
Oh,
God, it's a tough town.
It's a real tough contracts. Contracts.
Then in 1977, Bob and Patricia split up. He continues acting, but of course, the heat of Hogan's Heroes and everything else is slowly starting to die. It's the thing that nobody ever thinks about in Hollywood. Many, many people come here, they have some success, and they're like, good, I'm set forever.
Up and away.
People will always love me this exact much.
Right.
Oh, no, they fucking won't.
I know, Karen, you've been reminding me of that since we fucking started this podcast.
Please don't forget. This love is temporary. Please don't get detached. I can't let you get hurt like I've been hurt. So of course, and he's also like, he's basically Hogan from Hogan's Heroes.
Yeah.
People aren't that interested in seeing him in anything else.
I mean, has anyone watched BoJack Horseman? It's the same fucking story. It's my favorite
fucking story of Bob Crane.
It's the story of Bob Crane without the murder.
So the career is dwindling a little bit. And then in 1978, and this I think is like, it reminds me of, did you watch the movie Soap with Robert Downey Jr. and Sally Field and Kevin Kline?
No, but I know what you're talking about.
Okay, because it's good, and let's put that on the list of recommendations. That's what, Stephen, our 8th film recommendation of this episode. We'll call this one Film Time.
Yeah.
It's a great movie, and it starts Kevin Kline is doing Death of a Salesman in Florida, like a dinner theater in Florida for old people that
That'll be us one day.
It will be. And we will love it.
And we will fucking succeed at it.
The second all of this begins the downslope, I start drinking again, and I won't give a shit what happens.
Great. We'll do Arthur Miller plays in Tallahassee. It's going to be amazing. Do it.
We both are going to be in Death of a Salesman.
That's right.
Okay. And there's going to be so much more swearing than Arthur Miller, that's a guess, ever intended to be in his play. Okay. So in 1978, he's cast in a run of Beginner's Luck at the Windmill Dinner Theater in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's tough.
That hurts me.
And it's not that, like, it's within the decade of when Hogan's Heroes is canceled. So this is true pain, Hollywood pain.
Yeah.
This is where you really have gone off you're no longer invited to the big party.
Pretty quick.
Yeah, it's rough. And the other thing too is he had built it's a huge career. This man really, it's a lot.
Foundation.
Yeah. And he's clearly insanely talented, but here we are. So he's doing some dinner theater in Scottsdale, Arizona. And while he's there, he moves into the Windfield Place apartments.
That's the Oakwood of Scottsdale.
I would think.
Dude, the Oakwood's in the fucking Michael Jackson documentary, by the way.
Is it really?
Yeah. If you're in LA, you know what we're talking about. Otherwise,
look it up. Okay. So on June 28th, 1978, Bob fails to show up for a lunch meeting. So one of his cast members from Beginner's Luck comes over to his apartment to check on him. And it's a woman, and she goes into the apartment and finds Bob's dead body with an electrical cord tied around his neck, and he's been bludgeoned to death with something. Police are called, obviously, and
no doy.
You can tell I'm reading. I'm so bad. The reading voice is so different.
No, you're doing great.
Thanks. So the police get there. They theorize that Bob has been bludgeoned to death with a camera tripod, but it's never proven. But that's just what they believe.
Did they make that up, or there was like a bloody tripod in the room?
There's no reason. They just made it. No, it's because of the other stuff they find in the apartment.
Okay. Ooh.
So yeah,
it's very telling.
You're right. And then remember the other thing I told you about the other girlfriend and
naked
the pictures?
Photos.
Okay.
Tasteful nudes.
Right? they searched Bob's home for clues, but at the time, the Scottsdale Police Department was really small and had no established homicide unit. So they weren't equipped to handle a murder investigation.
You know what I'm going to say?
What?
Well, there hasn't been a murder around here
in 25 years, which someone pointed out is a very short amount of time.
Oh, yeah, we know that now. Yeah, it feels long.
Yeah. I'm saying it in an old voice, but it's actually a very...
You're a minor.
It's recent.
You're a pioneer from, what is it, 1993.
Yeah.
Did I get that right?
I think you did.
No. Math. Go on.
I don't even know how to... I wouldn't know how to put that math together.
Well, I only know that because I was born in 1980, so it's a nice even number to be right. Oh, I'm 38 now because it's 2019, isn't it? Wow. Okay.
Math time.
Go on.
And now math time's over. Literally, when I sat here trying to do that math, I just saw a big 9 and a big 3. And then that's all I could. There was no actual help.
Me neither.
Okay, so here I am on this page. So the search of this apartment yields almost no evidence except because there's no sign of forced entry. No valuables have been stolen. But the police do find an extensive collection of homemade videotapes. 1973. So this is
that film or video cassettes?
It's practically reel to reel. 78. Like I remember when my friend Janet Nielsen's parents got the first VCR.
Jesus, in 78?
It was even earlier than that. I think it was like they were fucking hooked up.
In 85, when we wanted to rent a fucking movie, we had to rent a VCR too.
We did that too.
You did that too at the grocery store, at the video store across the street.
Yes, my sister and I very often would rent the VCR, and we'd rent the Best of Bryan Adams video compilation.
Oh, anything you do, I do.
Yeah.
I won't do it.
He had a great video of For Run to You, where it was just him playing the guitar with a bunch of leaves being blown all around.
Sure,
him.
what's more romantic?
Come on, and it's like, I'm gonna run to you. Leaves.
It's like mimics running with blowing.
Yeah,
but he doesn't have to move.
No, he could just stay there and play the guitar.
Right.
God, please. Guys, I meant to say not God. Please go ahead and rent the Best of Bryan Adams video.
And rent a VCR while you're there.
Have the experience.
This is what it was like.
You know what? I bet these days people would have to rent a VCR because they're now completely cycled out.
Fucking A.
The future and the past coming together. Here's what I'm talking about.
Okay, keep going. Let's not listen to ourselves.
So essentially, they come upon all these home videos and they're like, what the fuck? They take them all into evidence and they take them down to the station to review them. And that is where they find that Bob Crane has videotaped a whole host of sexual activity between himself and women.
He's a pornographer.
He is a self-pornographer.
Okay.
A hometown pornographer.
Sure. That's our new episode. Mini episode is hometown pornographer.
Hometown pornographer. We might be biting a couple other podcast ideas right here, but let's just see how it goes.
Okay.
There's another man featured in some of these recordings, and they eventually identify that man as someone named John Henry Carpenter. So John Carpenter was a regional sales manager for Sony Electronics in Los Angeles. And he was an expert in video equipment and video recording. And part of his job was helping customers learn how to use the video recording equipment. So one such customer was Bob Crane. So it turns out they frequently went drinking together. And while they were out at bars, Bob Crane's celebrity, it's like, look, Hogan from Hogan's Heroes is here. And that would enable them to pick up on women. They would bring them back to wherever they were staying at the time and then record themselves having sex with these women. Now, later on, Bob's son from his first marriage, Robert, would say that all these women consented. It was what they also were into, and that's why the tapes got made. But when police went and interviewed these women, they found their identities. A lot of them had no idea that they had been filmed. So it was a bit of a creepy situation, even just to begin with. And it turned out that the whole scheme was because Bob Crane was a rampant sex addict. And everybody that he had worked with in the business kind of knew it.
Yeah.
And a lot of them tried to distance themselves from him when they experienced it in whatever way they did. So that was part of the reason his acting career dwindled the way it did.
Right. Okay. All right. Let's not become sex addicts.
I mean, let's do our best. But then when the pressures mount, you got to go somewhere.
You got to take that pressure away somehow.
And like here's me over here with my coconut macaroons going, what am I going to do with this pressure? Well, that's just coconut macaroons or what
They're not
Bob,
working?
They don't work. And neither does yoga. I'm sorry.
Tantric yoga.
Whoa. When you film it. So yeah, this was Bob's addiction.
Okay.
And his reliance on sex and the illicit pursuits became more frequent as his career was dwindling.
Sure.
Which makes
fulfillment. Sense. We all need it.
Everybody needs
Especially when we're not getting it elsewhere.
And things you used to get tons of fulfillment. That's the other thing, is that experience of fame where the popularity is like you think it's permanent and unceasing. The removal of that and the emptiness that leaves behind. Yeah, people are going to go to
any addiction you have. It would have, if it was alcohol, he would have fucking drank too much. If it was drugs, if it was gambling, whatever.
How about shopping and just buying the same tiny shirt over and over in a bunch of different colors? That's what I used to do.
Right.
When I took my diet pills and eating was no longer on the table because they'd cut that part of my brain off miraculously. Then I was just like, I have to go to Club Monaco, and that's all I did. So Bob it was a problem to the point where Bob actually met with a therapist and had been talking about and coming to terms with the fact that he did indeed have a problem with sexual addiction. And he had plans to meet with a psychologist who specialized in sex addiction in Los Angeles when beginner's luck ended the run, but never got a chance to do that. So the police figure out that John Carpenter had flown to Arizona to visit with Bob for a few days on June 25th, 1978. So he was out there and around. And when they inspect the rental car that John Carpenter had used during his visit, they find blood smears inside the vehicle. The blood matches Bob Crane's blood type, but of course, this is way before DNA testing. So the blood type match isn't strong enough to bring charges against Carpenter, and the case goes cold.
They just taste it and they're like, it tastes kind of like that was DNA testing back then.
Let's get the tasting scientist in here. Yeah, no, nothing. Nothing. So 12 years later, in 1990, Scottsdale detective Jim Raines, who had already been a homicide investigator in Phoenix. So it was like finally, they were building up their homicide department, I would imagine. I'm assuming that because of one sentence that is in the research.
I think you're right. Let's write a whole movie about it.
Okay. How Scottsdale, you know what? They're turning their homicide department around.
Up and coming.
So Jim Raines is there to kick some ass. And he starts re-examining the little evidence that they do have in the Bob Crane murder case. And he discovers photographic evidence of the presence of brain tissue in the rental car.
Ew.
So when they were looking for the evidence in the rental car, they also took pictures, which is very smart and good.
Yeah.
Because that's the one thing. So there was no way that they could extract that evidence, being that it was like over a decade after the crime.
But just looking at it, they couldn't be like, that's not chewing gum, that's brain matter.
No, they could.
Okay.
But it wasn't like they could go back to the car and prove it.
Okay.
But it was, the photo evidence was significant enough that a judge deemed it as admissible evidence. And in June of 1992, John Carpenter is arrested and charged with Bob Crane's murder. So in 1994, the trial begins, and Bob's son Robert testifies that Bob they weren't getting along anymore, that Bob Crane thought of Carpenter as a nuisance and a hanger-on, and he no longer wanted Carpenter in his life. And according to Robert the son, the night before his murder, Bob Crane allegedly called Carpenter to end their relationship. And you have to figure, if you're doing something like creepy like that, if you're not completely good with the situation, the person that's kind of aiding and abetting you in that situation, you're going going to want to turn on them at some point. Because it's like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's your fault we're doing this. Or, you know,
or go find someone else to do it with when this guy knows he's not going to find anyone else to do it with.
No.
He's fucking pissed.
And that guy has so much power over him, being that they're kind of in this collaboration of filthiness together. That's my theory,
collaboration
anyway.
of filthiness. Please, we're naming the episode. That's what this podcast is.
That truly is. Okay, so according to, I said that already. Carpenter's defense quickly bats down all of these accusations from Robert, the son, and then they bring in witnesses who saw Bob and John Carpenter having dinner at a nearby restaurant the night before the murder, and they all attest to that they were getting along very well.
Wait, so they were having dinner the night before, but no, they were like friendly. So he didn't smash him over the head later. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life.
Especially when, if you've lived in LA for any period of time, you will sit happily at dinner across from your worst enemy.
Yeah.
That it means nothing that they were getting along.
The fact that he was in fucking Scottsdale, Arizona, and he ended up dead the next morning is more important than that they were casually smiling and eating fucking, chicken parmesan? I don't know.
What do they serve in Scottsdale? We're going to hear about it.
Okay.
No, I meant people are going to write in.
Oh, okay, good. I was like, tell me what he ate.
Well, Clams Casino.
Oh, shit.
Oh, have you ever had clams in Scottsdale? They are fresh and delicious. Okay, so John Carpenter's attorneys also note that the camera tripod murder weapon was pure speculation, that it was never found or proven to be true. And that was really what was linking, like, in everyone's mind. Right. It's like, if this is the weapon, then the guy that knows the most about these is the murderer.
He can still touch a baseball bat, right?
He can touch anything.
Exactly.
And when it came to the evidence that they did have, the Scottsdale police had mishandled or even lost enough of it so that it was basically the defense was saying, you guys don't even really know what you're doing, so you certainly can't put a case together against my client. What if you had a lawyer that talked like that but defending you against murder?
Look, bro,
you don't have a case against your client. I mean, my client.
Anyone's client.
In court, they're like, your client, my client.
My client.
It's, Your Honor, it's my client. The defense also argues that there are so many potential suspects that haven't been looked at, which is very true, including the women in the video whose motive could be murder because they could have been blackmailed, or they could want to be blackmailing Bob Crane and John Carpenter. Family members or friends of the women who were recorded who would want to defend their honor. There was actually even another actor who swore revenge after a violent argument with Crane several months before the murder took place. So,
and his name was it Conan O'Brien?
That was Conan O'Brien, who was he was only 12 when he was in Beginner's Luck in Scottsdale.
I
will kill you.
I'm great.
And frame your friend. Okay. So then, I should put my thumb near where the last thing I read before we start laughing about things. Okay, so with so much reasonable doubt surrounding the case, John Carpenter is acquitted, and he maintained his innocence. Yeah, they didn't get him.
Fuck.
He's acquitted, and he said he was innocent until he died a few years later in 1998.
Shit.
Yeah. So with the case still unsolved, Bob's son Robert starts to speculate that there's a chance Bob's second wife, Patricia Olson, may have had something to do with the murder because she was the one that stood to inherit Bob's entire estate.
You mean his apartment in fucking Scottsdale? His divorced dad apartment? Sorry, have you seen a divorced dad's apartment? They're fucking depressing.
She's like, I'll kill for that fucking shag carpeting.
I need beige everywhere.
She's like, I need a bunch of reel-to-reel videos of other women fucking my husband. Right. That's what I'm looking for. Patricia did get his entire estate. There was nothing left for Bob's first wife or any of his 3 children.
Fuck that shit.
Yeah. So also in the early 2000s, the fascination about this murder and the secret life surrounding Bob Crane resurged, and Patricia Olson began speaking more openly about their life together. And she said that she knew that Bob had a persistent sex addiction, that she didn't mind. To her, it was just an obsession he had, and she thought there was no use in being jealous of an obsession he couldn't control. And after her own death in 2007, she was buried, Patricia was buried next to Bob Crane in the Westwood Village Memorial Park in Westwood, neighborhood of Los Angeles. So in 2001, Bob's son from his second marriage launched a website called bobcrane.com where visitors could pay to see some of Bob Crane's sex tapes and photographs. Apparently the website doesn't exist anymore, but that was something his own family members set up.
Oh, the 2001s.
Yeah.
They were fucked up time for computers.
They were, well, it was
internet.
like anything goes.
Yeah.
And you wonder, like, obviously, like you said, he didn't have much of an estate because this is from the family that got money from the estate.
Yeah. And
they're setting that up. In 2002, the film Autofocus, starring Greg Kinnear,
so good,
which is based on Greg Kinnear as Bob Crane, is released.
It's so perfect because Greg Kinnear, which is when you said he'd be a great
Ted Bundy,
because he is so friendly and sweet.
Yes,
he's not some creepy dude making videos.
No,
yeah, it's a really good movie.
And it really was when that whole story came out that's how Bob Crane died, and that was what his secret was.
Yeah,
it really was shocking.
Yeah,
and it's that thing of the face. How could a person with a face like that do a thing like that?
Yeah, don't trust anyone.
Right. And certainly don't base your trust on facial features.
Sure.
I can't help I have a perfect nose. It doesn't mean you should give me your car keys.
Look, Mimi's resting bitch face does not tell of who she is as a person, cat.
No, all of us with resting bitch face actually have big sensitive hearts that we're just trying to keep you away from for our own safety. Mimi included.
Oh, Mimi.
Poor Mimi.
I have resting friendly face when really I just want everyone to leave me alone. Is that weird? Is that a thing?
You have a really good, what I would say is resting friendly frozen face, where you'll stare at people with your smile, but you can see in your eyes that you're like, what the fuck is this?
Really?
That's my favorite look when you get it.
Is it this one?
Yes.
Oh my God. Just it's like, when are you going to shut up?
Yes, exactly.
Oh my God. I have cultivated
nobody is ever offended. It doesn't make anything negative
and
happen.
The only person who knows it is someone who knows me really well.
Yes.
Because I'll put my claws into your arm under the table and be like, get me out of this conversation.
And every once in a while, your head will be cocked one way or the other, where I'm like, oh, she doesn't actually like this at all. It's taken me forever to figure it out because, of course, I'm resting bitch face, and then I'll also be bitchy for no reason. I enjoy it. I think it's funny. So I don't know how to read this more subtle things. Also, when you watch, you can watch any emotion pass through my face.
Oh yeah,
it's like clear glass, where it's just like, oh no, I hate that. Oh no, that's fine. Okay. I don't know how to mask it at all.
I love it.
Working on it.
I love it all.
I'm working on my acting.
Don't.
I love talking about myself.
I love when you talk about me. It's perfect.
This is what podcasting is all about. Okay. So that movie comes out. Mm-hmm. Bob's son, Scotty, the one who set up bobcrane.com, he criticized the film for its inaccuracy. So he's saying Bob was never initially a church-going man who then turned to a life of sexual addiction and deviance. He was actually a longtime sex addict. And according to Scotty, the sex tapes Bob made dated back as early as 1956.
Whoa, vintage porn.
I mean, like, was he how did he do it? Like, go under the cloth, take the picture, run over to the bed? How?
Oh, vintage porn is the best porn.
Yeah. Filthy. Also, the 50s porn. That's a lot of like, I'm going to slowly take my girdle off.
Well, the way you know, and actually they did show this. It's been so long since I've seen the movie, but I was going to say, like, the girls had to know it was being filmed because the recorder was the loudest fucking machine in the entire world, but they showed them putting music up really loud.
Oh, that's
covering
true.
The sound of it.
And I bet you they had a couple, about 8 or 9
cocaines.
They had about 9 cocaines, and they had a couple grasshoppers. That combination.
Some fucking rusty nails. That's actually a cocktail, right?
Yes, it is. It is. Okay. Yeah, those old, not video camera, but like a movie camera or whatever, high 8, super 8 cameras.
Yeah.
It sounded like a playing card in a bicycle wheel.
Exactly.
It was like, yeah, that's all it was. Was that fun to listen to? Was that ASMR for anybody?
Great.
So
then what happened? What about Bob?
I'll tell you. In 2015, Robert, Bob's son from his first marriage, wrote and released a book called Crane, sex, celebrity, and my father's unsolved murder. In 2016, with DNA testing available, reporter John Hook gets permission from Maricopa County Attorney's Office to get the blood samples from the rental car tested.
Yes.
So he goes into the old evidence, gets it tested. The tests basically prove inconclusive because one sample is determined to be from an unknown male and the second is too degraded to get conclusive results.
I hate the word inconclusive. It makes me angry.
It's just so unsatisfying. Yeah. And that is the end. That's how unsatisfying this story is because that's the still unsolved murder of Bob Crane.
Holy shit.
Yes. And if you need, definitely if this interests you in any way, watch Autofocus, the movie Autofocus.
Another recommendation. Good one.
Yeah. Thank you.
That was a good pick. I'm mad.
Thank you. Good.
Yeah.
The ultimate compliment.
I'm mad that you found that I didn't think of that one sooner.
So it wasn't you and I talking.
Absolutely not.
Okay, good.
God damn it.
You're off the list.
I'm mad at all my friends for not, every time we're hanging out, I'm like, give me a murder to do. I don't know what to do.
Yeah. Now it's your turn.
Okay. It's my turn now. We hate murderers. They fucking suck.
That's true.
Overall. This one is particularly a douchebag.
Okay.
So here we go. This is the Dexter copycat killer.
Okay.
You hear from me?
I've heard about this.
Okay.
We didn't do this, did we?
It was in a mini-sode.
Okay.
Yeah, so we didn't do this. We didn't do this, dude. We did it in a mini-sode. I was going to do it at a live show when we were in Toronto. I did get that message. But it was 30 hours away from Toronto, so I didn't. But here we go.
Meanwhile, I'm doing them that are like up in the Arctic Circle, never even thinking about it.
What do they want?
Yeah.
This guy sucks so fucking bad.
Okay.
Mark Twitchell is his name.
Sure.
He's born in Edmonton, Canada on July 4th, 1979. 4th of July. It means nothing. It's in Canada.
It's absolutely meaningless
They
to Canadians.
don't care.
They don't know what you're talking about.
Right. He graduates from the radio and television program at the Northern Alberta Institute of Technology. He fucking wants to be a filmmaker. He spent several years living in the Midwest, goes back to Canada to pursue a career in filmmaking, which has never been said before.
Here come all the Edmonton filmmakers down your throat.
That's fucking right. He's obsessed with sci-fi, likes doing cosplay. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But this guy sucks particularly badly. Okay. Dresses up, plays out scenes from his favorite movies called LARPing, right?
Yes.
Live action role play. Mm-hmm. Fine.
Oh, so basically there's regular nerds who especially love a certain thing and want to delve all the way into it.
Yes.
We relate. We are those nerds.
Abso-fucking-tibly.
But then there's the nerds that do that, but then they also have a homicidal element to their personality.
Right. We don't like them.
No.
We'll go to your fucking... It's basically like doing a Civil War reenactment.
Yes.
But of fucking Star Wars. That sounds way more fun than a Civil War reenactment. Here's what he looks like. Picture Adam Devine, the comedian from Workaholics,
who could actually play my younger brother if necessary.
Really?
Adam Devine, don't you think?
I don't know. I've never thought about it.
Take that
Leave it. Who's Paul Giamatti's younger brother? Is that okay? So it's Paul. Nope. Adam Devine.
Okay.
But picture him in a homemade Bumblebee costume from fucking Transformers or dressed up as Wolverine with fake sideburns at a bar. He's also, this is the early 2000s. So he's super into going online, looking for personal relationships. He goes to dating sites and shit, chat rooms. Remember those?
No.
We loved them so much. Yes, we did.
The idea of being on that and just trying to randomly talk to anybody, I would never do that in a million years.
I did it constusly. Keep in mind, I was under 20 years old the entire time. No. I did it.
That is a forensic files waiting to happen.
Georgia 1313 was my username.
Oh shit!
That just hit me. I just remembered that.
Do you think that people were like, hopefully she's 13?
Oh God, I didn't even think about that. I just was like, what's a scary number? 13. Great.
Do
13,
it twice.
13. Oh man.
Fucking double down.
I didn't really get deep into it, but I did go into a lot of straight edge and fucking raver chat rooms.
Well, you needed that information.
I did.
That was stuff like, guys, where do we go pick up the egg that then inside has the directions to the warehouse, right? Isn't that raver life?
Okay.
I was too old. I was just it was too old. That's to me, all of the internet when it started like that.
Yeah.
And it was all MySpace and why aren't you my friend on MySpace type of shit. I was not on any of it. And I would say to people all the time, why don't you just walk down Melrose and ask people, do you think I'm good looking? Because it's the same fucking thing.
Or smart or deep.
Or anything.
Or interesting. I'm 10 years younger than you, so I was deep into that shit.
Yeah.
I had a fucking live journal from the very beginning.
Yeah, girl.
I love that shit. It was my home. He also used, like, for his dating picture was a photo of Darth Maul.
Oh, honey.
From the, not just Star Wars, but from the reboot, which everyone knows is terrible. Right? Don't get mad at me, everyone. Fuck it. I'm not wrong.
Well, can I just say he didn't use Jar Jar Binks, and maybe that's the number one douche. Oh,
no, wait. No, you're right.
He does. You're like, well, hold on.
Okay. Yes. Correct.
Well, can I ask a question about this, though?
I might not be able to answer it.
Okay, I think you will.
Okay.
Was he shopping for ladies or men on these dating sites?
Ladies.
Okay.
He was super into ladies, and somehow they were into him.
Well, because you know why? Because they saw that picture of Darth Maul, and they're like, there he is. It's my dream man.
Wait, is he Wolverine? He might be Wolverine. Can he transform?
Oh my God, the sideburns alone.
They loved it. So he calls himself a Renaissance man. And then I wrote, we call him a chode.
Wow.
In 2000, he's 21. He meets a woman named Megan online. They fucking fall in love and hit it off as only you could do in the early 2000s and fall in love.
It was the best love back then.
The best love.
Yeah.
I did it a couple times.
Yeah.
I totally fell for people online. She thinks he's charming and sweet and smart. And they're talking online for fucking months. Totally fucking did it. And Megan, who lives in the States, flies to Edmonton to marry Mark Twitchell.
Wait,
after a couple months of talking.
But not meeting in real life?
I don't know if they had met, but maybe it probably was for a long weekend if they had.
Yeah. No.
He's 21. She's 20. They get married. She moves to Edmonton.
Okay.
From Colorado.
Can I just say what I might...
Always.
I have a feeling... that maybe she floated a thing of like, I can't fuck you unless we're married.
No. She's like, if this guy, did you ever fall in love with a guy online?
No.
Yeah. If this guy is who he's purporting to be online, oh my God. And it hadn't been like outed yet that don't trust anyone online, which we all know now.
Yes.
But like, this guy's like, amazing.
He checked all her boxes.
Yeah.
It was like, this was meant to be.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. They're like, well, we're in love. You're the person you say you are online.
God, I'm going to get online.
Try
you know what? I'm going to join MySpace. I don't care. I'm doing it. Get on there with me. Let's all see who
Start
can
from
meet.
the beginning. Go to Makeout Club, which I did. Yeah. It's in our book, actually.
Okay. Pick up our book sometime in May. We don't know when.
We don't know. Okay, so she gets married to him. They stay married for 4 years, but as soon as she moves her, she's like, oh shit, this isn't the guy I thought he was online.
Huh, really?
Nobody knew.
I'm now the meanest older sister in the world. Oh, really?
Really, Deborah?
Because you thought you were going to go to Edmonton and everything was right.
Yeah, just because you spoke to him 3 times on the phone. And and you know, there was fucking long distance charges back then too on the phone,
yes.
everyone. You don't know there wasn't tweeting and texting and
She was like, every time she called him, it was like 10, 10, 2, 20.
10, 10, 3, 2, 1. That's right. You oldies know what we're talking about. She realizes he's a compulsive liar and that he's cheating on her constantly, which is just who he was. He was a fucking sociopathic, narcissistic piece of shit liar.
Wow.
Just a guy who thinks he's smarter than everyone and very bright but sucks and has
huge blind spots.
Darth Maul. Okay.
He's a real Darth Maul.
Yeah.
A Canadian one at that.
Right. So yet less than a year after their relationship ends, he remarries in 2005 to another woman he's met online. They fucking have a baby. And this creep, Mark Twitchell, he gains a small following amongst sci-fi fans because he's like cool to them when he directs a movie that he makes using green screen called Star Wars: Secrets of the Rebellion.
Oh, he makes his own Star Wars movie?
He makes his own Star Wars movie using mostly green screen, and that doesn't have the money to have someone do the actual work to make it real.
Right.
So also, you can't make money on someone else's idea, so he would have just immediately been sued.
George Lucas would have had had him for dinner.
But he was so cocky that he was like, I'm going to make this and this is what's going to get me work. Like, they're going to see how great I am and he's just this cocky, mean. Everyone who worked on the film was like, he was such a fucking asshole. We hated him.
Yeah.
And the movie has a short cameo by the dude who plays Boba Fett in the in the Star Wars movie, which I was listening to this episode from last podcast on the left, and they're like, well, he's wearing a mask, so who the fuck even, you don't need the...
I was going to say, is it the actor? Either way,
it doesn't
you don't
matter.
know. Yeah,
right.
That's unprovable.
Right. So then he also starts working, after that, he does that. He's like, this is going to make me famous. Then he starts working on a script for a comedy that he calls Day Players, which is essentially extras.
Oh, okay.
By our friend
Ricky Gervais.
Thank you. Which is just about extras.
He's not our friend, by the way.
I know. He's a Siamese cat. We don't know him. Okay, so he starts making this fucking stupid show. There's a trailer for it online that's basically every dude you've ever dated in improv. Oh. If they made a fucking short with like their video camera from 2007.
No, thank you.
And like riffed. And then we're like, this is the best part. Let's put it in the trailer. And you had to be like, oh my God, baby, it's so... I'm sorry, I'm talking from experience.
No.
Baby, it's so funny. You're the best one though. I mean, it's so good and you're so fun. How do you like think of stuff that quickly?
Can I just right now quote my friend Derek Riddle, who is an incredibly talented Scottish actor who was on the book group with me. One of the funniest people I've ever met, but an amazing actor. And you've actually seen him in a ton of stuff. I can't think offhand. But one time we were being driven to set. It was me and Derek Riddle was in the front seat, Jimmy Lance and one other person. And those guys were talking and they were just riffing endlessly. And it was just this kind of nonsensical conversation that they were riffing through. And from the front seat, I'm not going to be able to do the Scottish accent correctly, but Derek just goes, Jesus, somebody block. You know,
oh yeah. Somebody run through this motherfucking thing and end this shit.
Ruin this. Somebody know but this improvisation.
It does make you appreciate really fucking good improv when you see it.
Yes.
After you've seen so many exes bad improv. I'm sorry.
There's a lot of bad everything out there.
There is.
The majority of most things are bad.
But you don't have to date a person who's doing it. And like a lot of bad things you don't have to go to their performance of. Like someone's bad at painting. You don't have to sit and watch them paint for 2.5 hours. And get drunk at I.O. Listen. Okay. So he's a fucking lying liar who lies. He quits his job, doesn't tell his wife, does the fucking thing of, I'm going to work now, goodbye, which is like such a fucking sociopathic thing to do.
But also...
Oh, you get it?
It's my favorite. There's something about it that fills me. I become enthralled. It's very similar to... Mardi Gras just started, and one of I believe it's the Skin and Bones crew, but they started their party at 5 a.m. And when I saw the video on Twitter, it was almost like I was going to float up off the couch. The idea of getting up at 5 a.m. to drink and party and do drums in the street and hang out is like my dream.
You know who else does that? Is people who are into football. Which, aka soccer overseas.
Yep.
And they'll do that. And I'm like, damn, I wish I could watch that. I wish I cared.
Yeah. Set your alarm and get up. And you're like, well, I have to drink because over there it's after 5. But I just, anything like that. And then also this idea that maybe you fucked up so bad you can't tell anyone. So then you're putting all this energy into tricking people into believing you didn't fuck up.
Yeah. But that just shows what a lot, that you... I mean, once you get to that place where you can't lie because you've already lied so many or you have to lie because you've lied.
No, I know. I'm just remembering in college, after I flunked out of college, between the time I told my parents and didn't, I would get up every day and run to the mailbox to make sure they didn't get my report card before me. And after I broke the news, whatever, my dad goes, yeah, your little mailbox trick didn't work either. Of course, it's like, I've never cared about mail in my life.
Yeah.
And suddenly I'm getting up and running to the mailbox every day where it's just like, your parents know they know what you're doing.
They think you're stupid.
Everybody knows.
Quits his job. But he still goes out on Friday nights pretending he has a job. He rents a garage in Edmonton's South Side, which apparently was a bad neighborhood. There was like a literal garage that he rented from a couple who didn't speak English. So he's like, great, they won't be able to tell anyone anything.
Oh yeah.
That's what he does. And he also starts telling, he's trying to get investors in what he's calling his A-list movie, big budget movie that he's going to make that has A-list stars have already signed on to the movie. And he's like a great bullshitter.
Like Boba Fett will be there, and of course Darth Maul is going to make an appearance.
He fucking talks about Alec Baldwin being like, he's just like he's lying, and he's really good at it, like a lot of sociopaths are.
Yeah,
and so people kind of believe him, and he ends up getting like $90,000 to fucking make this movie.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of fucking money.
Yeah, it's the sociopath or whatever psychopath thing where the charisma floats it.
And I know a lot of us are like, wait, he can get a wife and fucking all this money.
Two wives.
But he's a liar. But it's like, well, you have to have follow through. Like if he had put as much effort and fucking time into like what he actually did as he did selling his bullshit, including to like selling it to these women that he's not a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Maybe this would have been fine.
How about just don't be a piece of shit a little bit?
Right.
If that's a choice.
Give it a shot.
We don't know. Sometimes it's not a choice.
Yeah. Try. Go to therapy. Okay. So he also spends a lot of time on the internet where he creates fake accounts and fake identities and catfishes the shit out of people.
Sorry, I'm just thinking of every Star Wars character he's pretending to be on the internet.
Boba Fett. Name too. I can't.
Me, R2-D2.
Great.
Date me. I'm a robot.
There you go. And around this time, he starts to become obsessed with the show Dexter.
Yeah.
Which I've never seen a single fucking episode of.
It was good.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really good because it was like a procedural, but then it was also like Silence of the Lambs.
Ooh.
And there was a slightly comic element, and that actor who plays Dexter that we've talked about a lot on the show.
Love him so much.
I, of course, can't remember his name.
I went to his house once.
That's right. And he was in that series that we loved. Remember when he had the accent?
Yes, the British one.
What's that guy's name?
Something Michael C. Hall. Michael C. Hall.
Ah, he is so good. He is so good and great to watch.
Yes. Okay.
Also, John Lithgow was on Dexter.
Right.
Like, it was great.
I didn't watch it out of any kind of... I don't watch TV. I couldn't afford TV at the time, and I had a desk job, and I couldn't illegally download it to my work computer. That's the only reason I never watched it.
If only there was some kind of a Russian hub you could have linked through.
I tried. I tried once, and it was like a little bit like fucked up, and I was like, well, I can get through this with like a little bit of a fucked up screen. And then I was like, I have a headache now, so I just stopped trying. That was the last time I tried.
Do you know that I couldn't remember my HBO Go password? So this last season of The Sopranos, I just bought it, and I told that to my friend Molly, and she was like, you fucking idiot, it's for free. Because I was like, I just bought it. She's like, it's free, it's just sitting there.
Yeah.
Like, I can't figure it out.
Yeah. Solve your own problems.
Can't. Like
my therapist used to say, Kim, throw money at the problem.
Yeah. That's what I did.
Yeah.
I just bought it.
Yeah. Great.
Goodbye.
Okay. Okay, so he, of course, if everyone who doesn't know, Dexter Morgan, it's a TV show about a forensic blood spatter analyst by day and a serial killer by night. He fucking kills other serial killers, right?
Yes.
Great premise. We love it.
Very satisfying.
Very satisfying.
It's like, finally, it's a good psychopath.
Child molesters too? Everybody.
Great. That's the whole arc of it, was all the different kinds of bad guys, and he worked in the police department.
Love it.
Yeah.
So he watches all episodes, probably a lot of episodes.
Yeah.
I don't know how many there are. In 4 days.
Whoa, what?
Yeah, so he like does the fucking crazy person thing.
He binged it. Wait, am I a crazy person? Because that's all I do.
Well, no. Yes and no. No. Because you don't then go, well, now I'm going to go kill people.
Oh, true.
Right.
Thank you.
So he creates a Dexter Morgan persona on his Facebook page. He pretends that he's Dexter Morgan. He actually gets like kind of a following of fans and like communicates with them. And he like posts a thing that's like, Mark Twitchell is like way too similar to fucking Dexter Morgan, and like creepy shit like that, where it's like, calm down, dude. So he's living on his investment money from the movie he was going to make, and then that movie is called he creates this new movie called House of Cards. Before House of Cards, it's the Canadian House of Cards. So
it's the House of Cards.
House of Cards, yeah. House of Cards. I'm stealing that from Vince and Jesse Pop. and our friend from Canada, who's so funny, Casey Corbin.
Yes.
Okay.
I just got to meet.
Yeah.
In our
really funny
Toronto
comedian.
shows.
A hilarious comedian in Canada. Okay. So it's an 8-minute slasher flick that he makes about cheating. So basically he's Dexter, but he's like, I'm going to change this slightly because I don't want to get sued. And he kills cheating husbands instead.
Okay.
He fucking makes fake profiles of women on these dating sites, finds and catches cheating husbands, kills them.
Seems a bit extreme.
Yeah. It's like, just to have a divorce.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not,
Dexter's killing serial killers.
Right.
It's
and
a
also,
very good thing.
This motherfucker cheats on his wife all the time.
Yeah, what's happening?
So like, let's not.
Self-loathing. Let's not be a hypocrite.
Can you not? But so he writes this bullshit fucking movie, and he taser, where the character tases and abducts these people wearing a hockey mask. And he tapes them to a chair, gets their gets all their information, cleans out their bank account, and in the end runs them through with a samurai sword and hacks up the body parts.
Good God. Can I just say that Dexter never stole money from people, from what I remember?
Like, he had a job.
There was no financial gain. It was all purely like, this is for the good of the people.
Right. He also probably didn't own a samurai sword, which is like, if you were dating a guy and you went over to his house and he had a fucking samurai sword,
I'd be like, I have to check my car really.
Right.
Yeah. The last word wouldn't be on the sentence.
No. If you own a samurai sword and an iguana, get the fuck out of there.
Or
both. I'm not saying one or the other.
Right.
Iguanas,
especially if the iguana's on your shoulder holding a samurai sword.
And you have a goatee. And the iguana has a goatee. Get out of there.
We are making enemies left, right, and center on this episode.
And I'm only 2 pages into this fucking story. Okay. All right. Here we go. So shortly after he shot this fucking stupid movie in his garage, a dude named John, who goes by Johnny Altinger, has a date with a woman he met online. So we're cutting to over here.
Okay.
Johnny is tall and friendly. He's a 38-year-old oil field equipment engineer, whatever the fuck that means. He loves riding motorcycles, and he is really close to his friends. So he tells his friends, like, I'm going to meet this woman I met online on the website Plenty of Fish.
Oh, the Christian dating website?
Is that a Christian dating website? It
sure is.
Great. He's like, I'm so excited to meet her. She seems super fucking cool. She won't give me her phone number. And one of his really smart friends was like, give me her address just in case. That seems sketchy.
Yes,
like,
this guy, that was a woman.
Yeah, this guy.
Don't you think?
Yeah, this guy has good friends. So
right.
He sends her the directions to the address in Edmonton Southside, where he's going to meet his date Jen to pick her up for a date.
Okay.
And Jen's like, just go through the dark garage to the back patio, which is like, we always say to women, don't go to someone's house to meet them in a public place. But like men, you don't think about that, you know?
Right. And I think it's rare that anything like this would happen.
Right.
But all of us should just be cautious for the first couple days.
Slightly cautious.
Just like, let's meet on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Let's make sure it's at least a 2 to 3 lane highway that we're near. And lots of public exposure.
Like, I feel like I wish I'd known earlier, like, you're not a bitch if you don't trust someone you've never fucking met before.
Thank you. Let's shake on that one. That's a handshake statement if I've ever heard one. You're not a bitch if you don't trust someone you've never met before.
Right. Or don't know very well. I mean, and I'm talking 6-8 months in.
Yes. No, trust must be earned by esteemable acts and trustworthy acts.
Exactly.
If there have been none, trust doesn't exist.
Right. And you're not a fucking cunt because don't let them gaslight you into thinking what an untrusting person you are when you have ample reason not to trust someone.
And as an acting cunt, I would just like to tell the people that are afraid to be one.
Actress cunt?
I mean, I act like one. That come on over to this side, because if someone accuses you of that, it's really not that bad.
Right.
Most of the time, that just means that you're asserting yourself and not doing whatever another person wants you to do.
Right.
Which I don't recommend.
I love it. I'm there with it.
Yay.
So Johnny, after he goes to meet this woman, and just after 7:00, he sends a message to his friends saying he's arrived at this date, and it's the last time anyone hears from Johnny. Really. Okay. It's Canadian Thanksgiving, which is a thing, in 2008, 2 days after Johnny had met with his date Jen, when he misses a fucking much anticipated motorcycle bike trip with his friends. And they're all like, that's not like him at all. He's super fucking punctual and reliable. And then they get an email from John saying, quote, I met this extraordinary woman, Jen. I'm going away with her to her summer home in Costa Rica. I'll call you at Christmas time.
In a month.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm assuming that Canadian Thanksgiving is around the time of American Thanksgiving.
Got to imagine it's not in like fucking August, right?
I would hope.
Yeah. So, yeah. So they get like, if you got a message from your friends, like, goodbye, don't contact me. I'm going away. No. So his friends and family, of course, like, that's not fucking right. And they start calling around. They get word when he doesn't show up for work. They call the police. The police are like, wait it out. It's not a big deal. His friends are like, you don't know Johnny. So they break into his apartment.
Oh, good.
Where they find his clothes, his suitcase, his passport, all of that shit. There's no signs that he left on a vacation. So the police are probably like, all right, let's fucking look into this.
I love those friends.
I know.
I love that they broke into his apartment. That's that kind of thing too, where it's just like, you go kick that door down. What's going to happen? They're going to arrest you.
And if Johnny comes back from Costa Rica, you can be like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dick?
Yeah.
I'm not paying for your fucking door. You need to call your friends and family.
But he would never do that, because if he came back from Costa Rica and was like, you guys, he would have been like, you love me so much. You kicked my door down to find that out.
Get hysterical sometimes.
Get in there.
Do it. Kick down doors. This detective, Bill Clark, is assigned to Johnny's case. Johnny's been missing for 9 days at this point. He follows the directions to the garage that he had given to his friend, and contacts the person renting it, our fucking aspiring filmmaker, Mark Twitchell, who's been shooting a movie there. Twitchell's like, great, let's take a look. He's like super into like, everything's fine. I'll show you around. Oh, the lock's been picked. I don't know what's going on. Like, someone must have been in here. I haven't been in here since the 10th. They find a receipt inside from the 15th from Mark's fucking, like, he just is not good at murder.
He's not good, and he thinks he's great.
He thinks he's really fucking smart, and he's truly one of the worst most incompetent fucking people you've ever seen, but he thinks he's smart. So he asks questions like he's concerned, and they don't consider him a suspect at all. And they start questioning people around the neighborhood. They find a couple who said that they witnessed an attack a couple weeks back. They say that someone came out of a garage, running out of a garage, and trying to get help, and they freaked out and ran, and someone was like chasing him. And they're like, it happened this time, but the cops are like, that's weird. It happened a week before Johnny's date. So what the fuck are they talking about?
No.
Mm-hmm. So they go public with hopes of finding info, and that's when this dude fucking Giles. Jill Tetreault. So this dude is a 33-year-old contractor. He had been separated from his wife. He had joined Plenty of Fish at that time, and he has a fucking story to tell that he hadn't come forward with. So Friday, October 3rd, a week before Johnny had gone on his date, he goes to Edmonton Southside to meet a woman he had been chatting with on Plenty of Fish. Sheena is an attractive woman, seems really anxious to meet him. She's smart, she's articulate. They had been flirting. She suggests dinner and a movie, and they're going to go meet up at her house. A few minutes past 7 o'clock, he arrives, parks outside an open garage, goes into the garage. It's too dark to see when someone starts attacking him and fucking uses a stun gun on him. He gets shocked, and he turns to see a man towering over him with a hockey mask on.
Oh my God.
The guy in the mask pulls out a gun and points it at him. And so this Tetreault is like, oh shit, this isn't my date. And he forgot to tell anyone where he was going to be. And he's like, oh shit, I'm dead. The masked man pushes him to the ground, covers his eyes with duct tape, and Tetreault rips the duct tape from his eyes and jumps to his feet. And later he says, quote, I decided I better fight back. I'd rather die my way than his way.
Yes.
And spoiler alert, I know this because he later writes a book called The One Who Got Away. Escape from the Kill Room.
Whoa.
Yeah. So this guy, he reaches to wrestle the gun out of this dude's hand. He fucking finds, when he touches it, he realizes it's a plastic fucking fake gun. Oh. And they start fucking brawling. And Tetreault drops to the ground, fucking Indiana Jones rolls out under the garage door.
Yes.
Fucking gets out onto the street.
Throw me the idol. I'll throw you the whip.
Yes. He tries to run when he gets out there, but his legs aren't working because of the fucking stun gun. Ugh. He's crawling down the unpaved gravel driveway, and fucking Mark Twitchell comes after him, grabs his fucking legs and starts pulling him into the garage. It's Saw. It's the movie Saw.
Yeah.
Tetro looks up and sees a fucking couple out for a walk. And he's like, oh my God, fucking help me. I'm getting robbed. The couple freezes because they see this dude with duct tape and like getting fucking dragged. And the person who's dragging them has a hockey mask on.
Dude.
Like, what would you do?
Yeah.
You'd be like, what the fuck is this shit?
I would run toward that hockey mask, fingers out.
Let me help you.
Yeah.
Right. No, they freaked out and they ran away. But Mark had run away at that moment too. So they call 911, the cops get there, and by the time they're there, everyone's gone.
Okay.
But fucking Tetro was able to escape, and he doesn't come forward because he's afraid of being followed and attacked. He thinks the person must know who he is.
Yeah. He does know who he is. He has all his information from that dating website.
And he can't track him down on Plenty of Fish. He's like, this is fucked up and scary, which sucks because if he had come forward, maybe something...
But it makes perfect sense. It's like you basically been through the most traumatic thing that's ever happened to you.
You feel like a stupid fucking idiot, probably a little bit.
Well, there's a lot involved there.
Yeah.
But then he comes forward
when he finds out about this. Yeah. So, days after Mark Twitchell's first interview, he comes back to the station and is like, oh, by the way, I meant to tell you guys this. I actually bought a new car from a dude who was selling his car on the street. It happens to be a Mazda hatchback, which is the same car that Johnny fucking drove.
Oh.
So he's like, it was so weird. This guy was selling his car on the street because he had met a really rich lady who was going to buy him a new car when they got back from their vacation in Costa Rica. Like just trying to fucking like overdoing his bullshit.
Yeah.
Which is what liars do.
Yes.
Saying he bought the car for $40. And that's... Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's obviously stupid. Of course, the cops are like, oh shit, this guy's a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
But they don't have any hard evidence on him. So he denies having anything to do with it. And but obviously he becomes their prime suspect. They get warrants to search his car and home and sees a bunch of fucking dumb movie props and personal effects. It's October 27th. They find a computer with a deleted file in his trash bin. So he didn't empty his trash, but also like you can't just throw incriminating evidence into your fucking computer trash can and expect it to go away.
Especially if you don't empty that trash.
That's right. It's not how it works.
Empty the trash.
Just kind of make it hard. Cops like are bored probably. And they're like, just don't make this so easy for us.
Yeah, exactly.
So the file is called SK Confessions. SK stands for serial killer.
Oh, bro.
So this fucking stupid idiot, the opening line reads, this story is based on true events. The names and events were altered slightly to protect the guilty. This is a story of my progression into becoming a serial killer. So he fucking details everything he does with slight variations and says it's a fucking script.
Wow.
He's so stupid. The 40-page document includes diary-like entries that detail his crimes. And when Tetron reads the account of his attack through his words, he's like, it's reliving the event. That's exactly what happened to me.
Wow.
And there's a gruesome step-by-step of how the murder happened on October 10th of Johnny. It's a cold-blooded attack with a pipe and is followed by graphic details of dismemberment and where he hid the remains.
Oh, no.
So he says exactly what he does coldly in his quote-unquote script. Yeah. And they also realized that Mark Twitchell had fucking broken in to Johnny's apartment and fucking used his email, had gotten his fucking password and used his email to send people messages that he was fine. But like how creepy that it was in his apartment.
Yeah, that's sinister.
So now Mark Twitchell, now 33, is arrested on Halloween of 2008 for the murder of Johnny Altinger, and police confiscate knives, saws, and a cleaver that are stained with Johnny's blood. and they discover his deleted confession, but they still don't have a body. Fucking Mark Twitchell refuses to cooperate. And there's video of him in the backseat of a fucking squad car being driven around for hours while the cops try to get him to talk. And he's just quiet and stone-faced, like a real video. It's so creepy. 9 months later, though, he gives police a map marking the location of the body, which was in a sewer drain. It's so sad. So March 2011, Mark Twitchell goes to trial for first-degree murder, and he takes the stand. He admits that he lured Tetro and Johnny to his garage, but he wasn't planning on hurting them. He says he attacked the men as a prank to get publicity for the movie that he was making. And he assumed that they would talk about their attacks and it would help promote his film. And he said it went wrong when John got angry about the prank and started attacking Mark. He said it was fucking self-defense. Bullshit.
Yeah. Clearly, because then after the fact, you're sending people emails,
right,
and you have all kinds of plans and schemes.
And you write it as if it's true.
Yeah.
He also claims that his writings aren't about the murder at all, but that SK doesn't stand for serial killer, but Stephen King, whatever. He describes himself as a psychopath with little ability to feel empathy, but he's never diagnosed with any mental condition. Of course, in the end, the fucking jury deliberates for 5 hours before finding him guilty of first-degree murder.
Oh, good.
He's sentenced to life in prison and is currently serving that without the possibility of parole for 25 years in Saskatchewan and penitentiary. So then I was doing some research, and in an ironic twist, fucking Johnny Altinger, the victim, he was also a bit of a nerd himself. He had been obsessed with computers since he was a kid, and he got his first Commodore 64. It's like he was a fucking total computer nerd too, and was like obsessed with this stuff. The only difference was he wasn't a fucking psychopath asshole. So this was like the good guy. He used his computer skills in the 90s to play text-based fantasy role-playing games like Legend of the Red Dragon using his dial-up modem. And he even had the alias Ultra Magnus, which is a character from Transformers as well. So there's this weird similarity between the two.
Right.
Except he wasn't a fucking piece of shit. Johnny's friends and family describe him as quiet, affectionate, and giving at his, funeral. At the funeral. But nobody said the same thing about Mark Twitchell in court. And that's the fucking story of the Dexter copycat killer.
Wow. Yeah, I feel like I've seen the whatever American Justice version of that.
Yes.
And it's so disturbing. Like that idea that you're arriving somewhere thinking you're starting a date,
the most pure reason, like
date night energy.
Yeah.
And you get attacked by somebody in a fucking hockey mask.
And this guy was 40. He was like really wanting to settle down. He wanted love, and he met this. It was just like the most pure reason.
Yeah.
And that happens. It's heartbreaking and awful.
It's horrible.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it was good.
That's fucked up. So, what? You hear that?
Rain?
Whoa.
Or roller coasters.
All right. Okay. Fucking.
Hooray.
Right.
It's fucking hooray time.
Fucking hooray time because of awfulness.
Do you want me to go first?
Sure.
I'm pretty sure I've told you this, but I have, in the last, I'd say month or two, I can't remember when, I upped my therapy to twice a week.
Yeah.
And did I talk about this already?
No.
Okay.
You've mentioned it, but you haven't.
Right. It hasn't been like I haven't repeated. I'm not doing repeat fucking hoorays.
Who gives a shit?
My normal therapy session, it would always end and feel like it just started and I was like mid sob and going, okay, bye. And I hate that feeling. And after a while, my therapist, Michelle, was just like, do you want to add another day so we don't feel so constricted by this? Because it's just 50 minutes.
It's 50 minutes. It goes by quick, and you can see your fucking therapist glancing at their what they think is their hidden fucking clock.
Yes.
Which is not. We see your eyes.
Yes. And there's kind of no worse feeling in the world than when I'm mid rant and my therapist sits forward in her chair just a tiny bit. Because she gives me all these indications like time is running out.
Well, now they do this thing that's new where they're listening to you and then they take their fucking, what's the card swipe machine, and they put it in their phone. Oh, mine does that. No. Oh, that is like, they're continuing to talk about whatever you're just talking about, and then they plug in their fucking chip reader.
That's hilarious. That's like in comedy clubs when they start dropping the checks while you're in the final 20 minutes of your act.
Christ.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a bad feeling.
Okay.
So basically she said, she was suggested another day, and I was like, yes, that's a great idea. So I go 2 days a week, one right after the other. And so anything we talk about on Tuesday, we follow up with on Wednesday. And there's something about it. It's helping me so much in terms, because like I will say something and then she'll go, no, actually, and basically be able to be real time, kind of course correcting me in my thought process. So like I already talked about, like when she was like, write down 5 things that make you happy. It's almost like a meta version of that, where she's like, I know what you mean, but actually you've told me this in the past, and this is really what's going on.
So frustrating when you do that to yourself.
I know, where she, because there's, the more stress or the feelings that we deal with these days everything feels big, and there feels like a lot of threat, or what if we lose? Yes, the stakes are very high. She comes in and goes, I just would like to remind you very quickly, they're not. Yeah. And then it really is like a centering, grounding feeling. And I just like, for people who are like, I'm too scared to go to therapy, just please know there's some of us that are fucking doing it every day. If she goes, we need to start doing 3 days a week, I would do it.
Yeah.
Because it really is just like being able to vent and have someone go, okay, but could you also look at it like this?
Right.
I mean, we've talked about therapy so much on this show, but
it's so important.
It helps so much. I just feel like I can feel the real effects of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Like you and I used to go to our dude, and an hour would be up, and you and I hadn't stopped yelling at each other. So he started being like, I don't have a next. I think he purposely wouldn't schedule a session after us, because he's like, I have another hour if you guys can stay. So we were having 2-hour fucking sessions.
Yes.
Which is the only way to fucking solve anything.
Yes. And if you're in a place where like it takes time to unravel bad things.
Yes.
You have habits, to give yourself time,
memories,
mental states,
fucking learned behaviors.
And you have to be taught how to look at things. Like you always look at things the way you look at them, because you're doing it for a reason. You have your reasons, you have your self-protections, you have,
it's shit that worked you for a long fucking time.
And she says that all the time. It got you where you are today. Because I'm always in there going, I don't know why I do this and that. And it's like, you got yourself where you are today with these things that you're now saying are the worst things about you.
Right.
And that it's just so helpful.
Or you think are still going to work when really your circumstances have completely changed. So it's
because it's
a defense mechanism that you don't need anymore.
That's right. But that it doesn't work real time, because your body takes forever to follow.
Right.
And if you are in a state of threat, and if you have no support and nothing, then you can't just go, oh, everything's different. Yeah. Great. And you can't expect yourself to do that either.
No.
So, everybody that's trying or attempting or whatever, just fucking year 14 of therapy, it's like, I'm just starting to feel like things really breaking up in a meaningful way.
I love it.
It's nice.
My fucking hooray is that yesterday or this week, whatever, it's mine and Vince's 3-year wedding anniversary.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Did you guys get married right when we started this podcast?
Pretty much. I think you were like a last minute add-on to the invite list, because I was like, well, we're friends now.
I definitely was, because I remember you going, look at my ring.
That's
that happened like when we were recording.
And you called me. You were like one of the first people.
Really?
Yeah.
Honey.
3 fucking years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Someone who never believed in marriage and was always scared of marriage because it means that this is how you fall apart from each other.
Sure.
But knowing somewhere deep down that I did want the option to get married, or hoping to find someone that I liked enough to marry, and being 3 years in, and Vince was like, we're even more in love. And it was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
I didn't know that would happen, that you'd like each other even more. I always figured relationships were a steady decline.
Sure.
And I'd have a series of 3 to 5 year relationships for the rest of my fucking life. And that's how it would be.
Yeah.
And I'd have to go to a lot of improv shows. But meeting Vince
That's why you got a day to stand up.
That's right. Has proven otherwise. And I just want to say that we went to Musso and Frank's for dinner with my mom and basically my stepdad, John, last night to celebrate our anniversary, which is so nerdy. It was really fun.
I bet.
And they gave us a card, an anniversary card.
Mom card.
The last minute anniversary card. I think it was a marriage card, not an anniversary card.
Okay.
And it just said, whatever it said on it, she signed her name and John's, and then wrote on the other side, gift to come. That's what I wrote down, that I wanted, gift to come. That's what I wanted to tell
Give me
you.
time to think about it.
Yeah.
Well,
so maybe I'll save that one because it's hilarious.
what the gift will be?
No, that card.
Oh,
that's
definitely
just so,
save that.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I was just going to say, as a person who is forced to be with you in your relationship a lot of the time.
You're there.
You have a beautiful relationship that makes me happy to see. And the way you guys talk to each other and talk with each other, like, so much communication, but then on top of that, it's like the way you guys chat with each other. You talk about stuff that's like, it's not like, here's my interest or here's your interest or whatever. You're just great conversationalists and kind of just great communicators.
Thank you.
It's really lovely. And I also really love, because this is what my parents used to do, and they were married for like 40 years. Mm-hmm. When in the car, my mom used to just always put her hand over and put her hand on my dad's neck as he drove. And I watch you do that with Vince all the time, where you just kind of get in and you just like go and put your hand on his leg or whatever. And it's just a lovely, you guys are doing it right.
Thank you. I'm amazed that this happened, that we have each other.
You're very lucky.
And guess what, everyone? We go to therapy too.
Yes.
Because
you have to.
Because it's important.
Yes.
And we're still great.
Yeah.
Even without it. But it's great.
Yeah.
Thank you. That means a lot to me that other people notice that too. Because I'm amazed. I love it.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. Follow things and do this and that.
Yeah. We have all these, we plug things and we promote things. But
exactly right. We have all these podcasts on our network.
And we have a podcast coming that we can't wait to tell you about.
We have an announcement coming. It's going to blow your fucking socks off.
And maybe you've already heard of it. We don't know, but we get to tell you soon. And we're so excited. We've been waiting for fucking ever to tell you, and we can't wait. But the Exactly Right Network is like our next slate of shows that we are going to premiere soon. We're so excited about them. We have amazing talent, really good podcasts. And so, stick around for that, because Exactly Right. But I was going to say also, we promote stuff on here all the time and talk about stuff. And you guys are so responsive as listeners and so supportive of everything we do. It sounds hokey, but honestly, thank you so much.
Yeah, we feel like we have a million like sisters or like close cousins supporting us.
Yes.
And we feel like we know you guys.
Yeah.
All. We're really grateful.
We're really grateful. So thank you so much, and stay sexy.
And don't get murdered.
Goodbye.
Elvis, you want a cookie?